go to Ron in Vancouver. Ron, thank you very much for being patient. Merry Christmas. Your story.
Hi, Gord. Merry Christmas. I just want to relate something that happened to me on Sunday. The pub that I play at, the bartender and the waiter put in $200 and they made a big dinner. And I was expecting it just to be like a couple people there that day, everybody else to be home. The place was packed. And everybody's like, play Christmas songs, play Christmas songs. I said, no, I don't want to. The band next week will play Christmas songs. I'm kind of cynical, done with it. Anyway, the day before, this guy, an old Western hockey leaguer, came in. And usually when he comes into bars, they'll tell him, be good or we'll bar you. We'll kick you out of here. Anyway, there was a Christmas tree on the table. And the guy said, well, how come all the Christmas decorations aren't put up yet? And I said, Kerry, why don't you put them up yourself? And he's like, hummed and hawed. And he looked at them. He felt around, took a couple of balls, and said, well, there's no strings on the balls. I said, well, that's probably why they didn't put them up there. And he proceeded to put them on there, strategically placing them all in the Christmas tree. I took a couple of pictures of them, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to publish these, because when I looked at them, I saw this man turn from like 65 years old down to 6 years old. It was just so heartbreaking. It was like whatever this guy had ever done in all of his life, and I know what he'd done. He was a Western hockey leaguer. He's got, he was a swamper for a guy named Tiny who was about 7 feet tall, and they used to hang around with their little dog Tiki that was like, a Pomeranian. So
right.
Talk about a fish out of water. It was like a comedy. It was every time they came in there. Anyway, this guy just reverted back down to this 6-year-old child, and I just thought, the look in his eyes as he placed these strategic placed balls, I'm kind of cynical now. I just think that Christmas is just so overdone, but that was the spark that put the Christmas spirit back in me. And on Sunday, I told this story because people were like, well, Christmas. And I said, here's a Christmas story. And when I finished, they just didn't stop. They applauded for themselves. I said, if you want the Christmas spirit, just do something nice. Say something nice to somebody. Do something good for someone. It doesn't have to be involving money. It just has to be involving you. Look at them and smile and laugh. Do something. Anyway, I just thought I'd relate that. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say it.
No, Ron, you said it really well, and that's a great Christmas Eve story. Merry Christmas to you, Ron. Thank you for sharing that.
Merry Christmas to you and your family, too, Gord.
Okay, that's Ron in Vancouver. Let's move on to Steve in Richmond. Hi, Steve.
Merry Christmas, Gord.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. My Christmas story, a Christmas Eve story, actually. Our company used to have a toy drive years ago.
Right.
And anyway, what happened was I was in the office on a December 23rd in the evening just cleaning up some things, and the phone rang, and I picked it up, and it was this woman on the end of the phone, and she's a single mom, and she moved out of the area and missed her toy drop-off. And I said, well, there's really nothing. I don't know what I can do for you. Every of the packages have all been delivered, and I'm sorry that happened. And I was trying to figure out what to do. And I said, you know what? I'll meet you tomorrow at noon. And we discussed the place. And I said, and I'll get you a toy hamper. So the next morning, I went out and I bought a whole bunch of toys and everything for the 6-year-old girl, and delivered them to the mom. And so for me, the greatest Christmas gift. I ever, for me, the greatest Christmas gift I ever had was the one that I gave.
Sorry, say that again. That's a neat line.
Well,
the greatest
Christmas gift I ever gave was one, or was one that was my greatest Christmas present. Was one that I gave.
So the greatest Christmas gift you ever received was one that you gave.
Yes. Yeah. It really. Even today, it's one of those things where I think back on it, and it was the best thing that I ever did. It was the best gift to me of all time.
Steve, that's a great story. Thank you very much for sharing it as well, just like Ron. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
What a great story. The greatest gift he ever received was one that he gave. A little earlier, I was talking about how hard it is to construct those gifts that Santa drops off, and there's a number of you tonight or tomorrow who will have that job. And I indicated that, I over the years have had trouble with that. Well, I got a note here from an old prune on Facebook. Yeah, that's an old prune, @an old prune is the handle on Facebook. We have a young man who always gets Lego, but we take the instructions away. He puts it together perfectly every time. How do people do that?